right, it's still good morning, Abuja. Welcome back from that break. And on this program this morning, another conversation beckons. And I have a pretty lady who is doing very well in her sphere of life. And she's coming to share her experience with us. And we, of course, going to tap from her wealth of experience in that aspect. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. Let me introduce straight away Halima Ibrahim Abba to you on the program. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Halima Ibrahim Abba is a legal development and finance professional. She's also a chair and founder, Skills Outside Schools Foundation. Once again, you are welcome and good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now we're going to start on the note of Skills Outside Schools Foundation. What is it all about?
Okay, so thank you so much. Skills Outside School Foundation is about three things.
Okay.
If the viewer is going to take anything away from this conversation, it's about three things.
Okay.
Education, employability, and entrepreneurship. That's something every single human being around the world has to contend with. We all have to go through some form of education, whether it's in the four walls of a school, primary, secondary, tertiary, and also continuous learning afterwards. It could be homeschooling. It could be what you're learning from your parents, from your communities, from your religious institutions, and otherwise. So education is something we all go through on a lifelong basis till the day we leave this world. Now, why are we educating ourselves? Because it leads to something. It's a means to an end. And that end is either being an entrepreneur at some point in your life or working for somebody, which is to be employable.
Yeah.
And so for us at Skills Outside School Foundation, everything we do is about ensuring that the human capital around us, whether it's in Nigeria or on the continent or globally, have the right type of education that will enable them to be the right type of entrepreneurs or employees of labor when they go into the world of work. Ultimately, why? So that we can all develop as a country, as a community, as a state, as a world. Now, one of the key challenges that we've seen is that the education system is not really well, it's not set up in a way that prepares us for this world of work or for the world of enterprise. Because if you think about it, any educationist would tell you, the three things you need to gain from any form of education is knowledge, skills, and attitude. Often, our education system focuses on the knowledge. We come out of school, we know the chemistry, we know the government, we know the biology, we know the science, but if you're asked to apply it, to have the skills, the practical aspect, if you think about it, many people, for instance, study mass communication and they expect to be able to sit here, just like you, to be able to communicate to the world. But how many of us actually have the practical skill set as a mass communication student, for instance, to have the confidence, the capability to sit in front of a camera and actually communicate something? All the rudiments that go through the preparation that happens behind the scenes before you sit here and have this conversation with me. So that's on the skill side. The last thing is the attitude, the ability to want to do things on time, to be proactive, to want to add value, do things with a level of excellence. All of those softer things that enable you to coexist in a society with other people. So for us, the mantra at Skills Outside School Foundation is, how do we leverage on all of these things and make sure the education system we have prepares people, to have the right knowledge, skill set, and the right attitude. And that at the end of the day, when they do get the education, they can actually go into the world of work and also the world of enterprise, as the case may be, whether they choose to do it now or in the future. And the way we do this is through three pillars: data, interventions, and advocacy. Why data? Because I think as a development professional, it's very easy to think that you have a solution to a problem and you come and force it on a society. But you can't do that if you don't understand the context.
Okay.
First of all, you need to know what are the pain points of these people. The pain points for a young girl in Borno State is very different from the pain points of a young girl in Akwa Ibom.
Sure.
Even within the same state, in different communities, it's different. So you have to go and get the data. What is the data telling you? Where are the gaps? What are the problems? What has been done already? Who are the people that are acting? Where are the issues, and what else can we leverage on to be able to make it possible? why has that problem existed the way it has? Because some of it may have a historical antecedent or, whatever. So we try to gather data first to make sure that we understand the problem and the context, and then we go in to design a solution to the problem. And once we do that, we then go ahead and implement. And as we implement, we still gather data. What are we doing right? What are some of the unintended consequences? So you could go and intervene, and then some other thing comes up, which
yes,
we didn't plan.
Of course.
So it's important you also take that into consideration as you go along. And then when we do finish also the intervention, we still have to be able to gather more data to see how we can expand the work, to make it better, to enhance it and all of that. So this is how the interventions comes in. And then lastly, on the advocacy, at the foundation, we're a real believer in making the right type of noise.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who call themselves advocates, but they don't put their money where their mouth is. Okay. You have to be able to do something for you to challenge somebody to continue the work you're doing or scale it. Otherwise, it's empty. It's an empty comment. So for us, it's very important that once we do the intervention, we can now go and meet the relevant actors and say, this is what we found. This is how we can see that together, if we all work together and scale the work that we're doing, a lot more can happen. And this is how we've been able to achieve the type of impact that we've had. We've worked with nearly 50,000 young people and adults all across the country, different states.
50,000?
Nearly 50,000 through many partners. We haven't done it alone. So it's not just SOSF, but we've also worked with nearly 150 different organizations to do this. Because for us, again, to do development work, you can't do it alone. If you're going to solve Nigeria's problems or even Africa's problems, you'll never get there by yourself.
It sounds good and nice. Yes. Do you really put government into the picture?
Absolutely. We've been intervening in several states, one of which is FCT, where we've worked with all of the schools, all the senior secondary schools in FCT, and we've been able to do this only because of the support of the Secondary Education Board. They had the right type of leadership that was open to seeing how we could collaborate, and so we've intervened in deploying a program, two activities actually. One, which we call SOS Bridge, and the whole idea of that is to tackle four things: life skills, academics, career, and then technical, vocational, and enterprise. Our view is that these four skills, if they're well developed in all secondary school students, it positions them for anything they want to do, whether they want to be entrepreneurs, whether they want to be employees of labor. So we implement this across the 3 years of senior secondary education through trainers. We started working with volunteers, but then we quickly pivoted into leveraging on the teachers, actually.
Okay.
Because we started to realize that when you work with teachers, you have unintended consequences, which are positive, in that if the teacher is teaching these skills to the students, they automatically apply it even to the subjects that they're teaching.
Sure.
So we recognized that it was delivering better academic outcomes for the students, even in the classroom, because suddenly the way the teachers were teaching math and English was different. It was more participatory. It had more activities. It was more based on projects. It wasn't abstract. When you think back in school, everything they teach us, we had to just cram it, and then years later, when our nephews, our nieces, our children are asking us to do homework, we struggle because suddenly we don't remember because we just crammed it to pass, but if you're learning by doing, it's a lot easier for you to internalize it, and it's easier for you to apply it into something. So we started to see that it was having positive effects even in the way the teachers were teaching their other subjects. So we decided to change the model and fully focus on leveraging on teachers. That has also meant that the teachers' confidence is improving, that we are leveraging on the fact that we have trained people who, this is their job. Their job is to teach, but it's just that they're not only teaching their core subjects, math, government, geography, whatever, but they are also teaching them the life skills, so confidence, ability to communicate, leadership, teamwork, all of the things that you need if you're going to work for somebody or you're going to work for yourself. They were also telling them a bit more about their careers. So we were leveraging on different tools that we've created over time, and almost 200 different mentors that we work with all over the world who have selflessly just volunteered to support.
Okay.
So we have a team of media professionals, doctors, lawyers, people in across different fields who give their time to mentor the students, to tell them a bit about what it means to be in these professions.
Now,
Yes.
putting these challenges together,
Yes.
as a matter of policy,
Yeah.
how would you advise the government in this direction?
Yes, so I think it's several. It's being able to consolidate the work of various actors. I think just like the foundation, there's several organizations that are acting every day. And I think being able to bring us all together into the same room to see what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing, and finding the linkages and making sure that we're all part of a value chain that is able to create measurable change that government can actually show to the people as evidence that work is being done, I think is the first step. Because so many people are doing things, but it's hard to see, and not everybody has the same amount of media, attention. So it's a bit difficult to see that. And the work I can do as one person, is very small compared to the work we can do as 20 different organizations coming together. So this is one. The second thing I would say is importantly the availability of data. I think it's very important that government gathers data. What really helped us with the work we're doing in FCT is because the Secondary Education Board had the data. They knew all the 62 schools that were in the state. They provided us the information. It was clear exactly the interventions they were doing. So it was easy to work with that list and then go make a plan and say, okay, these are the schools we're going to focus on. And it was very collaborative because they advised us, okay, from what we know, these schools have little attention. So we think you should focus here because there are NGOs already here. That kind of data is very powerful for an organization like us. And this is what made the relationship with the FCT, I think, Secondary Education Board, very important. And I think the third thing I would say is that I think it's extremely important also that we are clear on why the problems we have are the problems we have. Because sometimes we treat the symptoms, not the problem. And it's, sometimes solving these issues take time. And I understand also that, politically it's important to show quick wins. So it's really about coming up with integrated solutions where you can show quick wins to the people, and solving some of the immediate challenges, but taking the time to really present a comprehensive plan that addresses the root causes of some of those problems, which can take years and years and require multiple administrations to successfully implement that. So
okay, on this note, in fact, how I wish you will go on and on and on and on, because the time will not permit us to exhaust what we have. Some other time we'll continue this conversation because you are doing very well. I must commend you for that.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the time.
Thank you for making the women for great and up there.
Thank you.
All right, I've been speaking with Halima Ibrahim Abba, a legal development and finance professional. She's also a chair and founder Skills Outside Schools Foundation. And of course, you have heard from her and the good work she's doing. The program is still Good Morning Abuja. Stay tuned. We have more ahead.